What is something people get congratulated for that isn't really an accomplishment? Story 1. I really don't like how impressed people are when I do basic parenting things as a dad. Being congratulated for being present and not shitty is not congratulations worthy. Story 2. Getting married. My mom will routinely talk about her friends' kids like, she's a smart girl, she wanted to get engaged, and now she is. Some of the dumbest people I know are married. It is not an accomplishment. It reminds me of Shonda Rhimes, lady behind Grey's Anatomy, Bridgerton, etc., talking about how, when she started dating someone and bringing him to events, people congratulated her like it was her greatest accomplishment ever. None of the compliments she had received for her work could compare to the praise heaped on her just for snagging a man. Story 3. This whole thread is a silly premise, TBH. People perform at a higher level when we step in and encourage them. Congratulated people perform better. Period. Withholding praise and giving it to people when they really deserve it is just a bad management strategy when you break it down. You guys withhold your praise for your team. I'll routinely tell mine good job. My team will do better. Better performance for free? Just don't be a dick. I'll take that, thanks. Simple shit. Story 4. Graduating high school. At least in the US. It's such a big deal here with huge parties and all kinds of hoopla. Even though most US high schools make it so easy to pass the classes, all you really have to do to graduate is show up and do your work. Granted, that's easier said than done in a lot of communities, with high dropout rates. Graduating college/university, though, now that's an achievement. They don't help you along like most high schools will, so graduating is all on you. I think it's just people looking for nice things to say to each other, which is sweet. But yeah, sometimes we congratulate people on stuff that's more about luck or circumstance than any actual effort or skill. Story 6. TBH, I find it mildly silly when people congratulate others for getting pregnant, unless it was a difficult process, had to go through IVF treatments, etc. Raising a child, well, is certainly deserving of congratulations, but just getting knocked up or knocking someone up isn't in itself an accomplishment. Note: I'm sure my view is skewed by the fact that I never want to have kids. Getting ready to be downvoted to oblivion? Story 7. Dads when their child is born. When my little girl arrived, a C-section was needed. I was with her mom. There were at least 10 medical professionals in the room doing their best at cutting my partner open. Apart from supporting my partner, I was the only one that was doing nothing. Yet, I was the only one being congratulated by every nurses and doctor. That was hilarious. Story 8. Once a mate of mine wanted me to sponsor him to walk the Great Wall of China. I refused because I don't feel it's an achievement worthy of sponsorship. It costs thousands to go do that, and it's something loads of people would do if they could. I'm not sponsoring him to go on holiday, run a marathon, or swim the channel or some shit. Story 9. Having children. I know it can be a struggle for some people, but there's literally no skill involved in getting pregnant and having a child. Many morons do it every day. Taking care of your children also isn't an accomplishment, although some days it is absolutely a chore. Story 10. Getting pregnant. Hooray, your organs work as they are supposed to. Big whoop. Or hell, even trying to get pregnant. No one needs to know you're getting cream pie daily. That is not an accomplishment. Nothing has even happened yet. When you're pregnant and sure you're not going to lose it, then make an announcement. Story 11. Things around the house, no children. My spouse and I both work very hard, but she puts in more hours. She does a lot of housework, therefore as a man, I get all the credit from her family if I prepare dinner or do the dishes. My spouse spends a lot of time preparing the house for a big family visit, and while I enjoy getting the attaboy stuff and having a good ego, it hurts her when she only gets a mention for her hard work. Story 12. Getting a message from a financial institution congratulating you on qualifying to apply for their rip-off products. Congratulations. You qualify to apply for a line of credit against your MasterCard. You mean that I can get my hands on more money, and I only have to pay my normal interest rate and max out my card? What an accomplishment. My mom was right. I am special. Story 13. Having a kid. Like, caring for one is an accomplishment, but for most people when they say that are pregnant, it's congratulations. But the actual act of making that kid is pretty easy most of the time. More your kid turns 18 and graduated and is a decent halfway functional adult. Fucking high fives all around. Great job. Story 14. Finishing high school. I've always been amazed by the huge bashes people throw for their kids upon high school graduation. And these parties aren't thrown for intellectually challenged kids who really struggled to finish and for whom graduating will be their biggest life accomplishment. Nah, they're for kids who easily completed their 4 years of basic education at Middle America Senior High, and the parents are acting like their kid just graduated #1 from Harvard Medical School or something. Story 15. Graduating high school, especially in Florida. I have been a teacher, and let me tell you, if a kid made it his mission in life to flunk out of high school, he couldn't do it. The entire system is designed to just push people through. Not enough staff to discipline and enforce anything, much less put up with a bum for more than necessary. It is not an achievement. It's the default. Sorry. Story 16. As a dad, literally anything that involves doing something with my kid when my wife isn't there. Oh wow, you're taking your kid out for ice cream? Yeah, they deserve a sweet treat just like anyone else. Grabbing diapers? Your wife must be so happy that she has a husband who helps out. Girl, I'm not helping out. I'm being a parent. Crazy thing is, it's not even exclusively from older women who grew up in a different time. It's people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, etc. Story 17, becoming parents. Like, that's the easy part. Now you just have to manage to not fuck them up. Also, why do 5-year-olds get congratulated for graduating kindergarten/preschool? The easy fun year is over. Now you'll be swamped with hours of homework and by stuff that doesn't involve counting 100 of something. I gotta bring in a tub of mini marshmallows and count 100 of them to show that I could count to 100. Siblings being congratulated for becoming a big brother-sister. Like, congratulations for not being too awful to make your parents not want any more children. Now you're gonna be fighting a baby for attention while having more responsibilities. Like running upstairs to grab diapers and wipes and picking up your Lego, because you will totally get the blame for the baby toddler picking up your property that they don't have permission to touch, putting it in their mouth all on their own and choking on it. And if you're playing a video game while mom sticks the infant in the same room as you to go shower, you have to unalive some creatures while keeping the little sibling from unaliving themselves with the outlet. Some pretzels you were eating or whatever, because you will for sure get the blame and be grounded from your gaming device. Story 18. My fiancée recently had one of her oldest male friends pay us a visit after being abroad for several years. So we met him at the local pub. It was my first time meeting him, and he seemed like a genuinely nice guy, and I could see that they had a really close friendship, chatting and laughing about inside jokes that had to be explained to me. At one point, she went to the bathroom, and while she was gone, her friend thanked me for how cool I was being about this whole thing. I must have looked confused because he elaborated, "You're not being macho or acting really jealous. You're not trying to scare me off by making it clear she's yours. It's just cool of you to do that because that's what a lot of guys do usually." In my head, I was just thinking that I absolutely did not earn an expression of thanks for not behaving like a possessive Neanderthal when meeting my fiancé's friend just because he happened to be another man. Story 19. Being congratulated when my wife gave birth. First time I just sat there eating Pringles and gave her water when she asked. Second time, I did nothing but feel immense guilt because that baby was huge. People congratulated me afterwards. No, please stop. I'm the bad guy in this story. Story 20. Anyone who buys a car is congratulated. I think what is meant to be congratulated is being in a financial situation to afford a car, which is worthy of congratulating. However, you don't have to be in a good financial situation to finance a car. Anybody can get a car loan. So in actuality, what we are congratulating is spending tens of thousands of dollars that they may or may not have. Story 21. Not sure if this relates exactly, but recently I was checking in for a flight at a self-kiosk. I was a bit confused on how to attach the label to my checked bag and which part to keep for baggage claim. It was a 4 a.m. flight and I was still waking up. An attendant walked by and I asked her for help. She walked me through it and said, "There you go. You did it. You did a great job." She was so nice about it and I was so proud of myself even though I just needed help putting a label on my bag. Story 22. Getting married. I think it's fine to congratulate people because it's a joyful occasion, but people do treat it like it's an accomplishment when it really isn't. Similar with having kids, in most circumstances. This coming from someone who's married and has a kid. Staying married is an accomplishment. Leaving an unfulfilling relationship can be too, though. Doing a good job raising your kid is an accomplishment. But just saying, "I do," or procreating are generally pretty easy. Story 23. Don't know if already mentioned, but as a dad, I find it bizarre to be congratulated regularly for interacting with my kid on even a basic level. I will just be pushing her on a swing at the park or sat with her when coloring drawing and people act like I'm doing something incredible. Wow, what an active dad. Isn't he great? No mate. I'm just being a normal parent, you patronizing twat. Story 24, getting a baby, getting pregnant. So many people do it. Even teens can do it, even by accident, not saying they should. Like, I know I'm biased. I'm against having a baby, but that's just my opinion and I'm okay with you having a different opinion. Like, sure, be happy if you wanted it, but don't expect a congratulations from me. Expect the how are mom and baby doing, because to me that's important. Everyone's well-being. But you can't tell me the current world is saved to have children. The current world is changing, and in most places not for the better. I won't add another child into this world. I will try to take care of people already there. That should be congratulated, not getting pregnant. Story 25. Many people get congratulated for buying a luxury car, but in many cases, this isn't necessarily an accomplishment. Often, it's more a display of financial status or credit availability rather than a reflection of personal achievement or hard work. While it can certainly be a goal for some, it doesn't always signify a significant accomplishment in the grand scheme of things. Story 26. Having a child, we've done it. Sometimes it happens by accident whether you want it to or not. And how is the dad? I'm a dad, congratulated. I didn't do shit but a little tab A into slot B and it probably wasn't even that good of a shaggin'. Yeah, I supported her, but come on, nothing compared to what she did. Story 27. Might get downvoted. I think congratulating people for weight loss is great when that's been their goal and they share it in that way, but I think unprompted it comes off really weird. When I lost 20 pounds, my appearance didn't change that much, from 155 to 135, but I hated when people commented on it. Good for you. You look so great kind of thing. Again, unprompted. Not like me saying I feel great I lost 20 pounds. But just when family members, family friends see me, it's kinda like, okay, did you not think I looked great before? 'Cause I did. I think I look great in both ways. Whatevs. Story 28. My brother has been in and out of the hospital for the last year and a half. I've visited him as much as possible and did a GoFundMe fundraiser to help him. The amount of people telling me how great of brother I am really bothered me. Everything I've done is because I love him and just want him healthy again. Story 29. Being a half-decent older brother and helping my parents out with them. Yes, I'm older and have my own life, but we live close enough and I'm single, no family of my own. Of course, I'll help with my younger brothers, make sure they grow up right and help my parents out as much as I can to make their lives easier and hopefully set my brothers up for success. When one family member succeeds, we all do. Story 30. In the Wild West, with few if any close-by relatives or neighbors and the wife died, the dad did it all, the ranching, the baby and child rearing, with the milk assistance of a goat or cow. That was an accomplishment. Many read cowboy stories and life on the plains, and for some reason, many city and town folk always assume there was a close-by female neighbor, or a female relative, or an older sibling of the infant living with them who took care of menfolk with cooking their food, clothing, and ready to do the mothering and going to church, which was over a day away, every Sunday while the cows suffered not being milked. Let's hear it for the men who raised their children from infancy who were called Pa. Story 31. My parents were legit upset that I didn't take time off of work, one of 10 PTO days a year, to attend my niece's second grade graduation. She is still attending that same school for the next few years, but now we have a ceremony for that. When my nephew joined Cub Scouts, they had a ceremony for him joining. There was nothing else going on. Not even a meet and greet with all of the leaders. Here is what we have planned for their first year. Nope. A ceremony for showing up. My dad stands up and claps at the end of a movie in theaters and gets upset if we don't join him. My brother and sister-in-law who live in my dad's house already had 2 kids and then she got pregnant again. They expected congratulations for now having 3 kids in the same bedroom I grew up in. Story 32. Your partner's job if it's perceived as a good job since it's seen as a winning situation. My example. My fiancé is a classical musician who does recording coordinator work too. I'm in healthcare, specifically clinical research. When I met some coworkers of his at an after-work happy hour function, he introduced me to everyone. Later in the night, I meet a manager of his, and when I'm introduced, he asks, "So what do you do?" My fiancé beats me to it. "She's in pediatric oncology research." The manager looks right at my fiancé and slaps his shoulder saying, "Nice job." All I did was exist, and my fiancé decided to date messy old me. And my job isn't that impressive, I'm not out here saving lives, haha. Yet he somehow got congratulated for pulling me, I guess. Story 33. When someone buys something. Not sure what to congratulate about. Maybe because the person had enough money to do it? I also never got the, "I am a proud owner of an iPhone 13 Pro. You're a what? How is buying and owning a phone, or anything, is something to be proud of? I would congratulate if someone puts his own phone together from spare parts and says, "I'm a proud owner of this phone that I put together myself." Then I would congratulate the person for sure. My hat's off too. Story 34. Having children. Most humans can reproduce quite easily. It's not hard. Sure, for women it's very uncomfortable, painful, especially when we actually deliver a child. But really, it's just the body doing what it was designed to do. The real question is, can you raise children to become well-adjusted, contributing members of society who make the world a better place? For most people I know personally, the answer is no. They have a bunch of kids, people celebrate, and then those children are raised poorly. Story 35, getting accepted into something easy. For example, when I was applying to law schools, I applied to a bunch and most said no. When the first one came along that said yes, which was near at the bottom of my list, I remember a friend saying, "Congratulations, you're going to law school." It was very awkward to me to be congratulated on getting into a safety law school simply because it was my first admit. Maybe I could buy it for a medical school because med school admission is insanely competitive and difficult. But when we're talking third and fourth tier law schools, don't congratulate me, I was still going to law school. It was a question of where, and I didn't want to celebrate getting into a shitty school, especially when I am pissed/bummed for not getting into a school I wanted to get accepted to. Story 36. Graduating high school. I get the pageantry, but it's never been easier to graduate high school considering the current standards and no child left behind agenda of the Department of Education. Graduating from high school with a D average is crazy, and I personally know of at least 6 kids that did so. Story 37. School presentations. I literally spent like half an hour Googling some random shit and 2 minutes on the actual presentation. Why is everyone acting like I invented the cure for cancer? And the worst is when the teacher specifically says, "Let's give him/her a round of applause." And everyone in the room has to stand up and slap their hands together repeatedly for a full minute.